The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast on the GallowgateShots YouTube channel. It is a Monday night live show once again. I am your host, Chris, joined by Decca and Mark. And Matty is here with us again this week. Matty, say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Bestie isn't here. Decca, do you want to tell everybody that's watching or listening back where Bestie is this evening?
He's taking part in Edinburgh Zoo.
The musical. Edinburgh Zoo, the musical.
He's not just, he's in the zoo. He's actually in it.
He is. So Bestie is at Edinburgh Zoo, which leads to a first question before we get on to all things Newcastle United. If Bestie had to be in an enclosure, which animal's enclosure do you think you would be most comfortable in?
A one that absolutely stinks and is rotten. I mean, you might think that it's some sort of like gorilla. When you look at him,
like a silverback.
But gorillas are quite clean animals, aren't they?
Oh,
they always look like well groomed and stuff like that, don't they?
Well,
nice shiny coats.
He doesn't.
That's what I mean. So that's why I'm saying you might think that, but then no, something rotten. A warthog. Get him in the warthog pen.
Something rotten.
Oh my god.
Something
Hope
wrong.
you're having a great time, Mr. Best. Anyway,
I know all the zoos are.
Yeah, we're having a good time, mate.
Hope they're treating you well.
He'd love it in there, though, wouldn't he?
In the zoo,
Rollicking around in all the mud.
Shit.
Just honking.
You would. How long before we see a video go viral where it's a kid falling into a zoo enclosure and it's Bestie chasing him?
And he gets shot. Best to get shot. Oh my god.
Just Bestie running around, little Maud stopping him from getting the kidnapped.
Shitting in his hand and throwing it. Oh. Christ, we've gone early this week, haven't we?
Yeah.
Hi, Bessie. I've already had a great time, mate. We really do. Right. There was a great comment before we started tonight, which me and Matt, you were having a bit of a laugh about. And it is from C. Cooper. That says, "Evening, lads. If each of you could sign one player this window, who would you like us to get?" But we'll come back to that one. He's comment at the end of it. Says, "Love the patter on here. It's like sitting with a load of football dads." And I'm here for it.
But technically, we are football dads.
Here we are, yeah.
Except
You're a
Matty,
dog dad.
I've got a dog, but
Yeah.
I don't do that parent stuff with dogs. He's been pal. So
Yeah, I always find that a bit weird when people do that.
dog man,
Dog parents
dad.
and stuff. Yeah,
Each
you
their
do that,
own, but it's
Mark.
certainly not for me.
Dog parent, remember?
You never heard people say that, like refer to the dog as like a
Maybe.
child?
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen dogs and prams and that, like, that's not unlike. What's going on there?
It's
Nah,
not
but
really,
a lot of times there's medical reasons why.
No.
I've seen a lot of lazy dogs as well, though.
Yeah.
It's because they're normally old.
I bet your Bestie would go in a pram if he got a chance. Bestie will be the one, when there's always some fella that's like around like mid-50s bombing around on a mobility scooter, and you'd be like, you don't need that scooter. It's bought outside of a pub. That'll be Bestie. It will be. Right, let's get on to all things Newcastle United. It's been another busy week there.
What's funny, I'm sure last week I was not banging the drum, but like was saying, with Amanda leaving and Mia dad, the club's going to have to find a different way to communicate, and other people are going to have to step forward. And then, God, you couldn't get them away from a mic. You know what I mean? It was great. It was absolutely brilliant. I think it was the following day. Darren Eales was out there doing a great one, and we've obviously had Mitchell. Howe's obviously come out and addressed his future to a degree, which no doubt we'll get into. There has been a lot going on. There has been a lot.
The lads have been in Germany.
Yes, in Germany, yes, headquarters, and we've seen some great leaks of the archive room and stuff, which we're all about. It's been being over there. I just feel like it's such a, and this is no disrespect to Castro or anything, but what a step up in sort of marketing / class it is when you see all the stuff that's
like an elite club.
It really does, doesn't it? Yeah, it is nice when you see all the footage and that, and it's just great seeing the lads back together, to be quite honest. And I'm seeing Tonali on that bike. Does he ever get off that bike? All I seem to see is him on an exercise bike. I mean, he's not allowed to play football. I don't think he can play football in the garden, him. Do you think he has to write the FA? Go, I'm going to play in the garden at 6. Am I allowed to do that? Because like, how can he not play behind closed doors? What difference does that
So
make?
apparently, the rumor was it in the WhatsApp group today that somebody mentioned this. You've got to apply to the FA for the likes of friendlies, and obviously, if it's going through the FA, it's still football related. Well, it's obviously it's a football friendly. It's always going to be football related, but it's got to be signed off by the governing bodies. So that's probably why.
Man,
do you reckon he's been taking up any other sport?
Cycling,
Paddle.
cycling,
A lot of people into that paddle
cycling.
these
We know
days.
cycling. Yeah.
Tour de France.
Paddleball people love paddleball at the moment.
Yeah.
Paddle
Looks
ball
fun.
at the minute, don't they?
Looks fun.
Where's
He might be in the
one of
Olympics coming up. It
Jasmine's.
starts Friday, doesn't it? What? Maybe in the Olympics. Because he might be in there
On a bike.
doing swimming or
Isn't that
bike or
what
something.
Ben
I don't know.
Arthur's like a world champion at it or something now.
What?
Is he?
Aye.
Shut up.
I never thought you would say something positive about him. Honestly, I didn't. I thought he was going to say.
I mean, I
he
might
spends
have
far too
made
much
the world
time.
champion bit up, like, but I'm sure he's like in the.
He's played it once.
He's playing. No, he's playing it to a good standard.
Semi-pro standard.
I think he's gone like professional at it.
Well, good luck.
So I think he's in the
I'm not
in the
so sure.
championship.
I'm not so
I've
sure.
definitely read something or seen something.
All right. Okay. I'm not so sure about that one, but I'm sure somebody in the comments will
in
let
a
us
comic,
know
in a comic, he's read that.
if Ben Arthur is a world champion at paddleboard. Is it paddle? No.
Racket
Paddle-
ball. Isn't it a racket
What's it
ball?
called? Paddleboard.
I thought it was called paddle board. Where's
Paddle.
the board?
Paddle
It's just
ball.
Paddle.
Paddle.
Like people just the hipsters just call
Paddle.
it paddle, bro.
Yeah.
Do they? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's
It's basically
paddle.
tennis meets squash, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a tennis with a big racket in it with a glass court. That's what it is.
Big racket.
Isn't the racket huge?
Well, it's
Like a
thick.
Yeah,
solid
it's smaller,
thing.
isn't it?
It's like,
Is it?
It's small. It's like a hand. Handheld.
It's more like a paddle.
Like a giant table tennis bat.
Yes. Yes.
Rather than a racket.
So yeah, it's got a circle rather
No,
than
it's like it's big,
oval.
big head, thick.
Steady.
Enough about me.
I have a thick pod.
Fuck you, we're not even 10 minutes in. 10 minutes in. But yeah, it has been great to see lads in Germany. Like you said, a lot of familiar faces that like the international lads aren't back yet. But what I did want to highlight, Mark, is Joelinton. How buzzing was he when his first day back at Newcastle, back in the training ground?
He just always is. It doesn't matter like what video comes out about him when he's like wandering around the place. He's always just high on life, isn't he? Just smiling, laughing, joking. Everybody loves him. He loves everybody.
Training's that new
He's
contract.
just well, that was like one of the first ones, wasn't it? Him going in and everybody giving him a bit of stick about signing it, bit of a ribbon, as they say. Not a ribbon, a ribbing.
Blue ribbon.
Yeah, blue ribbons, lovely biscuits. There.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I digress.
Right?
Yeah.
I know that.
Mine never saw that.
So old.
The
isn't
blue
he?
ribbon. It was always
So
blue
old.
ribbon. Yeah.
Blue ribbons, classic biscuits. But he's just lush, isn't he? It's nice to see. Just I'm so happy, and you'll be even happier when his mate comes back next week as well.
Is that when everybody's back from international?
I believe so.
Prior to the
Now
whole
that
game.
they're all back. They're back home yesterday from Germany, aren't they? And then the international break fellows are due to get maybe even the back end of this week. In all fairness,
It's not much. I mean, obviously, I know Gordon would joke that he didn't play any minutes, but you think England in general, and I'm sure about other clubs, yeah, it's not much time off for them, like, is it?
2
Like,
weeks.
you know what I mean? Them teams would have all been in the Champions League till, decent stages, and then you're off for a week. It feels like 10
Not
days.
like them bloody teachers that still complained.
Aye, true. Aye.
But we're
Jesus.
literally 3 weeks away from the start of the season.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's mad. Like, it is a bit mad.
Do you think, because this is one of the questions which I was going to come on to later in the show, but I might as well mention it now. Matty, I'll come to you. Mark said they were 3 weeks away. 3 weeks is a very
4 technically, I'll say.
okay, 4 weeks away from the season starting, and it sounds like such a long time, but really it's not when you're approaching the start of a brand new campaign. And did you expect that there'd be a high profile signing by now?
Probably, I don't think so. I'm not speaking from a pessimistic point of view. I just think I think normally when there's a tournament on Euros World Cup, that sort of accelerates signings to see these people play and their stock's never higher. But with this and with these PSR things, I just feel like there wasn't many clubs going to make early business. I just feel that they were going to struggle. But I mean, we've seen now, I think after that weird end of June that we had, I think it's a case of and the changes behind closed doors. I mean, I know we didn't see them coming. A lot of people said it was eventually going to happen, but I think we all knew that there was going to be some strange sort of loopholes, sort of arithmetic gymnastics we're going to have to do behind the scenes with our finances. So it's all a case of doing the bean counting now and seeing how we can actually use the money. So I wasn't expecting anything to concrete through the door. But I certainly wasn't expecting John Ruddy either. And that's no disrespect to John Ruddy. I just never thought I'd see him pulling on a Newcastle shirt. I didn't know he still played.
We're not going to get back on the goalkeepers. Like, we're not doing it because this will be the rest of the show on goalkeepers.
Are we classing a training top as a Newcastle shirt though? Because he's not really going to pull.
I don't know.
The old kit on, is he?
We'll see him in pre-season.
You reckon?
You'll definitely see him at least play one half in pre-season.
Yeah, you
I'm
probably
not
will.
so
Like.
sure.
Yeah, that sellout weekend or whatever it's called. He'll definitely make an appearance here, like 100%.
Anyway,
We've got 4 keepers going to give a half each.
5.
5 keepers.
When Bessie gets back on the zoo.
I keep forgetting about Bessie. I keep forgetting about Dubravka. Like, he's gone, isn't he? Like, I know I said we weren't going to touch on keepers, but he's probably going to be got on the deck, isn't he?
I think so, unless wherever it is that he's meant to be going might fall through or something. But I'd be stunned if he was still here. And I'll say what I said before. Like, you know, looking at what's left, I'd arguably probably want to keep him, to be honest with you, like, because I'm not sold on the ones that they brought in, like, at all. So, but then again, time will tell.
I think it's a hard judgment to make on the Greek lad.
Yeah,
I think he's played to a standard at certain points in his career. Obviously, played at Forest, didn't do anything, so that was alarming. But like, he's played to a certain standard and played in the Champions League before. You're not a mug if you do that, but we'll just wait and see. Hopefully, we don't have to worry about seeing any of them really, and Nick Pope stays fit and healthy all the way through, and we might just see the Greek lad just in the cups and stuff.
Because we're going to get all the way in them this season.
We are.
Yeah, we are.
Does anything less as a failure, Chris?
No, Europe. Not competing with Europe is a failure. I want to mention this at the end of the show as well, because there was a couple of comments on the back of that, which I had a bit of a rant about last week. I think we need to touch on the main talking point. What people have been getting the knickers in a twist a little bit over the last few days, Mark, is the interview which Eddie Howe. He's done a couple. So he's done a couple of Sky Sports and a few of the other media outlets, a couple of papers as well, and it's all about England and have England approached him. Is he interested in the position if the job does become available for him? So we all knew weeks ago that Eddie Howe's name was always going to get mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay. And we all knew because of the podcast he had done with Gary Neville, he didn't really rule it out. It was always on the cards to him, and he never said no at that point. A few of the little clips that have came out from the interviews that Eddie Howe's done, he's mentioning about reassurance that he needs and certain control that he needs at Newcastle before he makes any decision on his future at Newcastle United. Did that worry you?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think to your point, I'm not ruling himself out of the England job previously. Why would he? I think at some stage in his career, he probably has got aspirations of being England manager. It's a kind of a natural progression that you'd potentially look at as an Englishman to go through, have a successful club career, and then, maybe one day take over the England role. I think he would like to do that, but I see that happening many, many years down the road, which is why, I think that in that initial interview is why he hasn't said straight away, no, I'm not interested, because he probably will be at some point.
Well, he's clever enough, surely, with his words to say exactly what you've just said there, right? I'd love to represent my country, but just not yet. I'd never count us out of the job, but just not at the minute. That's all you got to say, right?
We did say England's not important, which maybe I'm just seeing rose-tinted glasses, but I was like thumping my chest, buzzing when he said that. I know he goes on, to say what people are worried about when he says, as long as I'm giving assurances, as long as my power,
there's a lot of change.
There has been a lot of change. We need to have conversations, because he did say that, and I was like, of course you're going to say that. That's fine. Then I think Keith Downing followed up with, have you been giving them assurances? And then it was the lack of affirmative on that a lot of people have jumped on. But I'm a bit like Mark. Again, I can be super negative, but I looked at that and was like, get in. He's staying.
Yeah.
And everyone else jumped on doubts are growing, because and I just didn't. I was like you. I saw it as a much more positive. And anyone who asked me outside of the Newcastle bubble, and my mates, do you reckon he's going to go? I was saying no, but barring a massive own goal by the hierarchy at Newcastle, which is always a possibility with any football club.
Yeah, I mean we've talked about it a few times, haven't we, with him going there, and it just not having that day-to-day connection with the players and being on the training pitch constantly. It's just not him at this stage of his career. And I think even, heaven forbid he was to leave Newcastle, I couldn't possibly see him jumping straight into that type of role. He'd 100% go to another domestic club and play club football for a number of years. Yeah, not play, manage.
Not play.
I mean, he's still young. He could
Put me in goal.
but we need a keeper, don't we? But yeah, it just. I think that point that you made there, Matty, around I'm not saying I've had those assurances. I don't think he would have had those assurances at that point because, I mean, as we now know, it was because they hadn't sat down and had a meeting because they've been away, training over in Germany. The announcements have been getting made. They've then been brought in later on. So there just hasn't been that opportunity for all of the management team to sit down and together and discuss how things will work, how they'll work together, come to that agreement. It's like any business that goes through a restructure, new people come in, you've got to sit down and have that discussion of, what's your ways of working? How do you like to work? We've all had new managers or had to manage new teams and stuff like that. That's exactly what you do. It's just at a different level. It's a sport as opposed to a business that you do know with it. But do
you not think though that then that's the club's priority is somebody like Darren Eales to go to Eddie Howe and say, right, we are looking to appoint somebody in this role. This is not going to alter your job to a certain extent, because then that stops these sort of things happening afterwards, where Eddie Howe says, well, I need some reassurances first of all.
I mean, playing devil's advocate as well, I think a lot of the reasons people have jumped on it, I know I've just said I was super positive about it, but I can see why maybe journals especially have jumped on it, because he's normally quite measured, or if not very vanilla in his answers to questions. And I think this was the first time there was just a little bit of something there.
You had the one little clip before with Dan Ashworth when that was mentioned. You could tell that there was something he wasn't happy about something then.
Yeah.
But that was obviously not to do with the club's way of approaching. That was obviously their relationship with Dan Ashworth. But then once again, like you're saying, Matty, that interview, you just thought he's normally pretty well spoken when it comes to that.
And people have said it's like he's sort of the first time I've sort of seen him use an interview as a way of sort of stamping his territory and just saying, just to let you know, I haven't had these assurances yet and I need them, but in a nice way, in a way of saying, I'm Newcastle through and through. So I can see that, but still, I still think there was a lot of trying to fill column inches.
So, Dego, we used to talk 17 minutes and Rafa's names get mentioned. Rafa used to use the media to his advantage, and we used to talk about football politics quite a lot. Like Matty said there, that's probably the first time that we've seen Eddie Howe do it. He's putting his cards out there thinking, I need you to back me right now and tell me what my job is, or because England's sniffing around the corner.
It's a funny one, isn't it? Because I read it of that. Like, personally, when I watched it, I thought there's no way he's going to leave. That's truthfully how I did feel that way. And I thought it was amazing to see how passionately he spoke about wanting to be here and how much he loved representing the football club and how much he fell in love with the club and the fans and all the rest of it. But I suppose his stock probably in some instances might never be higher at the minute. That we all love him, fans love him, England apparently want him as number one, so his stock can't really get much higher, right? So I suppose him sort of throwing that jab out there of, but I still have to be happy in the structure and there has been change and stuff. I suppose he's going to say it like, but to your point, I do agree that when Mitchell and that was getting talked about coming, whoever that person was going to be, you would have expected that How would have been part of them conversations, and also, listen, don't worry, if we get this person in, you will still have a final say on transfers. You will have this, you will have that. Maybe he hasn't had them because, according to the Telegraph, from what I was reading briefly before, them talks have happened today, apparently. Or maybe it was yesterday. Last night. Now I was also reading, I think it might be in the same article, that about Anderson, that he wasn't happy that Anderson got sold, and apparently he didn't want him to go. But of course, we are kind of batting a bit of a corner there. But maybe to him personally, he's thinking, hang on, I didn't want to sell him, and maybe he's thinking it's the start of you're selling players I don't want to sell. Are you then going to start buying players that I don't want? I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud.
Do you think it came from the back of Amanda Stevie not being here? Because we mentioned last week about having an ally in the football club. Amanda Stevie was that ally. Now maybe he's a little bit concerned that he doesn't have somebody in his corner fighting.
Well, I think now, and this is, I don't mean this. What I'm probably going to say now sounds disrespectful towards man, and I do not mean this at all. But probably it was a little bit that whatever Eddie was particularly wanting to happen, Amanda would agree with, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Whereas I think we all have to agree here that Eddie's not probably going to have as much say as he would have when Amanda was here, because we've employed people in them roles now And we've got a performance specialist. I forgot his name now. Is it the American news? What's he called again? Is it James Bunce or something?
James Blunt.
Bunce.
Well,
Bunce.
There's just a lot of people that are now part of that picture. And to me, that means Eddie Howe can't have as much say. He can't, right? But also, to be fair, in the modern game, a manager probably doesn't have that as much say anymore, right?
Very few.
So I do get that. I get that as well. And a manager shouldn't have all the say. I do understand that. But you have to find that balance, because if you don't, you're going to make them unhappy. And I'm not saying that's ever going to happen. I'm just saying you've got to find
the news that we've seen reported today, Mark, is that Eddie Howe says basically when it comes to transfers is that there'll be a shortlist given to him.
Yeah,
basically. And that's probably how you expect most structures of football clubs to work. I'd be very shocked if there's many managers out there that scout the player, pick the player, offer the bid for the player. It's not happening. Eddie Howe did fall into that bracket when obviously the turnover of ownership at the club was happening. Then Eddie Howe was appointed, then he was involved heavily in some of the transfers. It's naturally that's going to be taken away from the manager.
No, I don't agree.
Do you not?
No,
involved in the bidding of it.
Not in the aspect of, excuse me.
Choke that one out again, Jesus.
Not in the aspect of identifying
long there. Come on.
having to do the scouting and all of that kind of thing. I don't think that happens, and I don't think it would have in any point that he's been here. But what will certainly happen is players will be identified. They'll say, I mean, we've even seen it in the documentaries of kind of how it works, and we've seen it through a lot of the transfers speculation where we've been linked, where there's maybe 2 or 3 players in a position identified. They look at on the merits of how old he is, what's the fee, what's his value likely to be, what's his development improvement likely to be. They'll then take that, and one of the big things that Eddie Howe always spoke about was the character. What is he like as a person? Will he be able to fit into the team? Will he come in and settle in and not cause any disruption there? So I think that model is what he's expected to continue, and I think that probably will, because it came out in the kind of the chat from today's interviews of that. What happens behind the scenes of identifying players and stuff like that, he'll still be involved in having that final say around it, and it'll be a collective discussion around, is the fees right? He'll not get involved in that side of things. He's looking at it purely as, will this player fit into my style of play? Is his character right? Will I be able to work with him? Will he improve my starting 11 or squad? That's all that he'll care about. How much he costs, how much he gets paid, all of that, he's not interested in.
He's not, but if Mitchell comes forward with a player that he thinks is the right one, and how particularly would like the other guy on the list, that's when the friction can begin, right? Because Mitchell will be like, no, all the data, this is the guy that we should be going for. And Howe might not want him.
But
possibly.
Mitchell's not the manager.
I know he's not.
Mitchell's not picking the team.
But that's how these things can sometimes not work.
That's
how a
managers
manager's get unhappy.
That's why you need that clear lines of demarcation around who has the say on
Jesus,
on
did
these
you
things.
swallow a dictionary when you coughed up as well? Jesus.
Nice words.
Nah, nice words. It's like Bessie's back.
And I'm sure I will get it. But I think Howe saying what he said in the press there, I think has obviously fast forwarded that meeting apparently, right? Because I don't think that meeting would have happened perhaps as urgent as it did if Howe hadn't said what he said.
Yeah, there's no way you're having a meeting at 7:00 on a Sunday night.
So then
that it would have been a first thing this morning, wouldn't it?
So what he said obviously wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. He obviously had something of it, because the hierarchy went shit. We need to jump here and get it sorted.
So do you think that's England conversation knocked on the head now, mate?
I'd like to hope so. Not to say that I don't think the FA might reach out, but I mean, even Eales has came out and said they'll rebuff any real attempts from the FA. I think, do the FA even have the money to try and
you're right,
How I don't think they do. He's signed literally 2 contract extensions since joining. He signed one and then he signed an extra one, which is the length's unknown. So I'd like to think it's knocked on the head, but until maybe at least that Nations League break comes around, we will be sort of, and obviously the start of the season as well. That could be, if we have a rough start of the season, there's still people going to be thinking, oh, he's got one eye in England and all that. That's going to be rubbish. But for me, it's over with. Like,
do you actually think there was an England conversation?
I reckon he's being texted. We don't know. He said like something about like, I only know because of phones and stuff. He's so excluded, but there'll have been someone
maybe not an official approach. Like, I don't think it's been an official approach, but there's definitely he's got well, we knew anyway. We knew that England were interested, so of course they are. So I reckon there's been some sort of conversation off the record with that. 100%.
Yeah,
but
100%.
Discussion would mean you're entering into some sort of verbals backwards and forwards.
Not
I think it would have
necessarily.
just been a straight, no, I'm not interested.
Oh, I don't know. If he's saying now that he needs reassurance from the club, why has he not said that to whoever the conversations have been with, if they have been held?
Yes. Maybe
That's what I mean. So I don't think it's a conversation. No, I'm not interested. I think he will always keep the door open to England. Always. I don't think he will ever just rule that out.
Well, I think I definitely don't think there's been an official approach.
Yeah, of course not.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I think that's I hope that everything that, well, what he said in that meeting, what apparently's happened here, makes England think, oh, we'll not bother. Because I think it is different if England went, we are now officially approaching you. It's all well and good saying what you say when they haven't even offered you anything. But then when they actually come knocking your door and say, we want you to run the country type of thing, it's
and the thing is, right?
Prime Minister.
He's got a new one of them.
country's football team. Sorry, you probably do a good job of that now.
Tyndall,
A better job than
I'd rather have
whoever's doing
Tyndall.
it now.
Get Tyndall as Prime Minister.
And he was knocking on his door as well. Going like Eddie, like,
Well, I reckon.
imagine me on the sideline at Wembley. How good that would be.
Well, I reckon.
Dog.
Like, so if Eddie turned it down, Tin has to be straight on the phone, like just like, do you know when you used to see the last number that dialed you, you'd be like, I'm interested.
I'm the geese behind the operation.
I've said last
Graham
week,
Jones. Graham Jones got the England connection.
Yeah.
He was already involved.
last week I would have said I would want Tyndall for the England job, me like.
I know people say it's like a lazy link, but like it is the perfect link. Though.
As
like,
much
it is, though, like,
as
he
we
would- I
love
think he'd be
Newcastle
amazing,
United, right, and we do, right. I think we're probably all club over country when it comes to
Oh,
football, because
100%.
of course we are. But this England job could be a once in a lifetime opportunity for like Eddie Howe. And I know we're saying, like, depending on how well his career goes at Newcastle, then that door might be open in the future as well, because he's still a young manager in the grand scheme of things. But he might be thinking this might not come around again. You'll definitely get another job in club football, no doubt about that. But his stock's so high at the minute.
Well, his stock's high, and you've also got to think of the players you're working with. Like Southgate's been there for what is it now? Was it 12 years? Was it? Or 8? Sorry,
It's
8,
not that
8,
long, 8.
7, isn't it?
8, 7 or 8. So if you think of the next 7 or 8 years, or whatever, he might think, and I appreciate it, you kind of predict what the team's going to look like next year, but he might look at that and go, I want to work with Ford now, I want to work with Bellingham. Like, you might want to work with them players. I mean, he's not going to go on. I'm just hypothetically talking here. But I don't know. I just think that it sounds like these conversations that have happened yesterday have been vital to bury everything. And now we move forward and bring some players in, please.
There's plenty going out the door. And we'll get on
Well,
as well.
yeah.
Well, let's get on with it now.
Yes.
Penny going out the door. What do you mean by that?
I think we're going to see at least 3 first team regulars go.
Well,
not regulars, but
yeah.
Callum Wilson's, which might be a struggle now, given he's got a bad back. But and I definitely think Kieran Trippier's.
I want to touch on Callum Wilson, because do you know what it is? We've spoke about Callum Wilson so many times in this podcast, and do you know what it is? The last couple of days, I've been seeing so many sound bites from other Newcastle United podcasts and channels, which are basically slagging Callum Wilson off for his injury, calling him worse than shit, right? And we know why it's in it. It's for reaction. It's to get some clicks and stuff like that. And it's so fucking disrespectful as well.
Yeah.
Like, yes, we'll all agree that he's injured 50% of the time when we're relying on him to be available. But as a striker for Newcastle United, mate, he's been unbelievable.
The numbers, you can't argue with the numbers.
Nah,
and I know
it's so fucking disrespectful.
I wish he was constantly fit, but he is fit. He's a good looking boy. But he seems to get injuries out of nowhere. But like, it's just he comes back, scores goals, scores goals. If he's still got a high stock now, that's why I'm saying I could understand us cashing in on him. That's why I'm saying he could be likely to move.
I think everybody's in agreement. Yeah,
assets. But for me, I rate him higher than Demba. I think he's next to Isak. Genuinely, I'm a different type of player, but I mean, I've never been more confident of a player when the ball's at his feet in the box. Maybe, we're getting there with Isak now, and obviously Alexander Isak's an unbelievable player, but Callum Wilson he reminds me of like almost like an Andy Cole, like a sort of just in the box on the turn, but also he scores. He's capable of scoring like little worldies, like that goal he scored against Everton, the overhead kick away at Crystal Palace. Strong player, holds the ball up. And yeah, he's just been a great servant. So I don't think you can disrespect him too much given his record and not be a bit live, laugh, love. But if you don't love him at his worst, then you don't deserve him at his best. You know what I mean? We know what we were getting with Callum Wilson. He had injuries before he came to Newcastle, and it came to fruition. But you look at his stats and they are undeniable.
No, I agree. That's why I think it's been so disrespectful. I think everybody's in agreement that now is the time. Well, we're saying now was the time to sell Callum Wilson, but now he's picked up another injury before the season's even started.
There's fine as well. You just don't have to get aggressive about it.
Yeah,
it's absolutely fine to shake someone's hand and go, "Hey, mate, you've been unreal. Your goals kept winning the division. You know, no question about that back in the day. And your goals have helped us kick on and probably get in the Champions League. So, you know, thanks so much. See you later. That's fine. That's absolutely fine.
I'd still rather keep him. Yeah,
but when you're saying keep him, I agree to a certain extent. But keep him as what, second or third choice striker or fifth choice goalkeeper?
Sixth choice.
Still ahead of Gillespie.
No, like as Matty said, like you cannot fault him as a player when he's fit and on that pitch for what he does. We all know that he comes with his injury record as he does. People are also forgetting when they're slagging him off. Isak missed half of the season with injuries as well. So we're not. You kind of chuck it at one and then forget about the other.
His first season as well, Isak.
Exactly. So it's.
Do you not think that's why it's more important, though? This is why I'm on the fence a little bit. Is that you're right in what you say about Isak? He ain't gonna be able to play a full season.
Yeah.
And Wilson's another year older, more injuries. You've got tit injuries, back injuries, you name it. We're not even talking about hammies and that and coughs and that. We're talking about tits and that, man. So if he's struggling with that,
it's like a title of your autobiography, innit? Talking about tits and that.
From a cashing in point of view, then absolutely it makes sense.
Yeah.
He's in contract. He's
but how about
in relatively good form with his performances this season when fit. We all know that's the big.
That's the issue, though, isn't it?
The big but. That's the other part of his autobiography. So, all things being equal, you wouldn't want to get rid of him because regardless of, how he comes into the team, in whatever capacity that may be, he will cause problems. He will score goals. It's what he does.
I agree.
But we all know, and we've said it for months and months, years really now, you need three strikers.
That's what I was just about to say. I agree with you.
Even more so, given that we're two main strikers are so far injury prone.
Yeah, I agree with you. And then just to sit on the fence a little bit, if we brought in a third striker, whoever it may be, like if we could still keep Callum Wilson, that's great. That's a great ideal, but I don't feel like that's going to be a.
Yeah, well, I agree because I banged the drum and I'm not
the
going
money side of thing that's doing it.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm not going to repeat it again, but about Chris Woodward, we had three of them. I'm not going to go down that because I've said that many times. But we did have three strikers at that point. We sold one, and I know he'll say, "Well, we've got Gordon to play across the whole front and playing goal and all sorts." But we never really replaced Wood, in my opinion. So, and you cannot then go another year with Wilson getting older, and as I mentioned, the injuries that he's getting. You have to have another one, like, do you know what I mean? And I'm not so sure we can do that. And that's why I'm thinking if it's a case of, right, you go with the two you've got, you keep Wilson, you've got Isak, and you go again. That worries you now.
It would be really naive to think that it's somehow going to be different year on as well.
What classing Isak as an injury-prone striker right now?
No, I wouldn't say
I reckon he's got another season. If his season this season is got injuries in it, then maybe. Because the first season, let's be honest, what was it? Was it a foot? Did he break his foot in his first one? Was that what it was?
He came with an injury, didn't he? Came with a little.
But it's not a new thing that he's suffered from injuries.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, injury prone's probably too strong of a statement to put on it.
I think he's been quite.
He has injury problems.
Yeah. Okay.
But like I said, I think it was Ian loved banging that drum last year. He kept reminding us. So naive not to get a third striker, and it was to a nauseum, but he was right.
Yeah,
but we all knew that.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong, Gordon did a job to a degree sometimes when he played up there, but for me, he's a brilliant player, and I love Anthony Gordon. But centre forward for me, he's a makeshift one at best. He's not.
And I think realistically, to the point that you just made there, Decker, I think we'll probably see the same again because we know right wing is kind of where we're looking at. And I just think, will they look at a right winger that can also do that job of playing across into the centre as well?
Well, total players going out. So obviously, we've touched on Wilson there. Matty mentioned Trippier. That one seems to be gathering more and more pace, to be fair.
Last 24 hours, it's got a lot
Is that
of noise
because of
behind it,
both on-field and off-field, or?
100%, man. 100%.
Allegations.
100%. I know everyone wouldn't believe it, but it happened. And he's never
Allegedly.
he's never been the same since it happened, man. That's just
Since his house got broken into?
Well, other things. You know, but so and listen, it would.
What would your thoughts be on Trips leaving? If we're taking PSR, because we know that'll be one of the issues to try and recover some money, because he will get half a decent fee for Trips.
I've absolutely loved him. Like
he's been great.
He's our first signings, post takeover.
Do you think that's why though?
You what, sorry?
Is that why you've got that connection?
100%.
It's not just the fact he was first signings, because he was
mint.
La Liga winning international right back.
Yeah.
Like
you remember that season when he came, every single person was falling over themselves to say, my God, like you realise just how amazing he was when he was playing. Yeah. But performances towards the back end of the season, or like the second half of the season, weren't great. And he is 34. Like, he's getting on a bit, like, you know what I mean? And I think if you've got an opportunity to cash in on him, you've got Evermento there ready, team's there. So there is a replacement there already. It kind of makes sense. It would just be a bit like Wilson in the sense of like, like, thanks for everything you did coming. Thanks for keeping up, because you came in with it in the bottom three. Yeah. And you're getting with the Champions League type of thing. Help to do that. Set the standard, I think, as well, professional behind the scenes and that. And he goes with everyone's wishes. It would be sad. But I just think the age and that, and if there is someone really in for it, I think it's time.
If there's a deal to be done, I think it's not a no-brainer, but it'd be still a bit of pill to swallow for me. I absolutely adore the bloke in terms of we won't talk about off the field stuff. We'll talk about on the field stuff, and he's been an absolutely transformative signing for us, and he'll be remembered fondly if we keep kicking on as one of the signings that started all that. So yeah, good. It would be good to see him leave, but it would make sense for him and the club, especially if he gets to grab that Saudi bag, as the kids would say.
Which kids exactly?
He's not on
what kids?
Them kids, man.
I think, like, from an on-field point of view, I think he's replaceable. We've already got that ready-made replacement in Tino. He's there. He's shown that he's more than capable of stepping in and replacing them on the pitch. It's as to what Matty's just alluded to there. It's everything else that he brings. We've all seen just what a captain he is, whether he's got the armband or not, on and off the pitch. We're seeing it with the new signings when Tonali came and stuff like that, with the VTs that were around there. He's not even the official club captain, but he's running all of that and involved in it. There's much more to him as a character and a person that is a lot harder to fill than just that shirt on the pitch.
It is, but Christ, we lost Alan Shearer back in the day, right? Like, captains leave and move on. You as your word is, you adapt, don't you?
To remind Mark who Alan Shearer is.
That was amazing, wasn't it?
The time he forgot.
Is that bloke off Match the Day?
Do we think though, as well? I mean, talking about like the big turnover, obviously I'm not talking about on the field here, but we've lost. Matt Ritchie and Paul Dummett have left. Obviously, senior figures of what they're called, the senior leadership
team. Yeah.
The Legend 11.
Can you imagine though, Dummett trying to taunt anyone?
Yeah, I know, mate. But
no offense,
we not there, are we? Like Joe,
I wouldn't listen to him if you taught me. I was no.
Well, you never know.
Let's just talk about Matt Ritchie in this situation.
Can you imagine though talking to Botman in that? But what you need to do, mate?
Silver tongue depth. No, but he's putting the arm around, just going, "You all right?"
Do you want a bottle of water?
Give him that contract.
Yeah. Tell him funny jokes, cracking funny jokes.
Good at karaoke.
Anyway, I'm just saying, Dummett, Ritchie. Now we're speculating about Kieran Trippier, we're speculating about Callum Wilson. I know Callum Wilson might not be that type of figure, but them three certainly were behind the scenes. I know Lascelles is going to be there because I know he's hurt, but he's still got his contract extended. Do we worry at all about the sort of what's the word I'm looking for?
I do.
Leadership, you mean?
Yeah.
Leadership.
Just within the changing room.
Do you think behind it?
Do you think Joelinton? Do you think Bruno? Like, you know what I mean? It's the net there that them then step up to be.
Let's talk about Anthony Gordon apparently taking slots at this senior leadership team and stuff, just as a way of welcoming him back and stuff like that. I mean, Dan Burns still there. He's obviously got a massive. He's a massive character. And Nick
Paul, got a massive. You're right.
But it's just.
You hear Gordon speak. I mean, to be fair, and I'm going to be very honest, when he did the one with Neville on the
I was shocked.
I was stunned. I was like, my God, this guy's like unbelievable the way he's coming across, and he'll grow into a more of a leadership role. And when that's what happens, isn't it? Like, you're right in what you say, though. I do absolutely agree that you've got the likes of Trippier we might lose. You've got Ritchie and Dummett that's gone. They're sort of old guard, if you like. But then that is when Joelintons, your Brunos, your Gordons, well, Byrne's still there. There's still a lot of people there. I think
somebody will step up. Somebody will just fill in that.
I just hope that an influx of change. But again,
I just don't see many natural replacements for that, though. That's the.
What do you mean by that? Like, what qualities do you think that they're given that can't be replaced? Because it was only last season, I think it was me and you, Dak, was sitting here saying that Bruno looks like a future captain for us. 100%.
Yeah, but I think that's just more through his exuberance than anything
I
else.
think he leads by example on the field and things like that. But I think he'd be a massive character behind the scenes compared to somebody like Paul Dummett. Huge.
You just hate Paul.
Well, no, he would, man.
Aye,
but like, come on.
I think Dummett in these conversations is maybe the wrong one to focus on.
Look at players like
Matt Ritchie, Callum Wilson, Trippier, 100%. They are three big characters through leadership, experience, their all-round knowledge of football, the game, and stuff like that. There's not.
Paul Dummett's knowledge of the game.
I haven't. When did I mention Paul Dummett? I've already said 4 times. Take Dummett out of this equation.
Now, what I'm going to say is that with the greatest respect, with the greatest respect, again, Richie, no offense here, got promoted and then went back to the team that was relegated to get them promoted again. So, he's never really played at the highest of level. Like, he's never played Champions League and stuff. Well, I suppose I appreciate what got there. But what I would say about Richie, maybe on the training ground and stuff, he'll always set the tone and maybe
it Bruno said it
demand.
Was, sorry to check, but wasn't it Bruno said at the end of season review when we finished the Champions League? Like, it was like they asked him who's the sort of unsung hero, and Bruno said Matt Ritchie. And it was like
everybody absolutely.
That's what I mean. I was half hoping that we'd just be like, just retire and become a coach.
Years ago,
Sean Longstaff, like Sean Longstaff probably wouldn't be a professional footballer now if it wasn't for Matt Ritchie. You're probably saying that's a bad thing, but you've just think of the.
You think of what? Say it again.
How can you say that?
Because what Longstaff talks about and how he talks about Matt Ritchie in his career of helping him come through under the difficult times that he had under Bruce and the stuff like that. Yeah. So
he was a professional footballer at that point, though.
Aye, but he's admitted himself that he completely fell out of love with the game. He didn't want to be playing football and all of that
extended
kind
period
of
at Newcastle.
So he would have.
Sounds like something Amanda would say about that. Didn't want to come to work.
That was the wrong one. Well, but he didn't because of the way that he was being managed at work and handled. And if you in that position where he wasn't wanting to be a footballer anymore, he was led by Matt Ritchie, having conversations with him, putting his arm around him, telling him to go and speak to a counsellor,
probably
get help and stuff
out
like
of that group. I would probably say Matt Ritchie is the odd one out in regards to what he gives as a player, because behind the scenes, I've seen Matt Ritchie, I've seen them train under Rafa before, and he was like a fucking animal on that training.
And that's what I'm saying.
Screaming his tits off at every single player, every single one of them. But obviously, he was getting game time at that point. But I would imagine even this time last season, he would have been doing exactly the same. Screaming all the players.
You see him on the touchline, even when he's on the bench. He's kicking every single ball. He's shouting, organising. It's the first thing he does when he comes on the pitch. He's talking to people.
I think I want a can of worms with that question, but at the same time, you know what I mean.
No, I get it.
I feel like there is little, but like you say, it's like anything in life. You have to adapt. And with this sort of no dickhead policy that Eddie Howe and Jason Tyndall have, and hopefully, like Mark said, that gets taken well into account when we're bringing players on. That, who's to say another character doesn't fill them voids and just to bring them in as...
Somebody will step up. Of course
exactly.
We're going to start going through the questions. So if anybody does have any questions that you want us to answer, send them in now and we'll go through as many as possible. Yes, Degger.
I do just want to add, though, I know I'm saying that, well, someone will say, but hey, that doesn't always happen, though. Mm-hmm. Like, there's other great teams that have...
and that's why I'm saying I can't naturally see someone that will... who then? In the squad
I'm trying to balance in my mind who I'm thinking about, right? So if Arsenal lose Tony Adams or Man United lose Roy Keane, I think that's hard. Personally, I think that's hard to replace.
But that's one player, not three.
I'm getting you. I'm hearing you. But Matt Ritchie and Dummett, and then I'm fine. It'll be out.
Why does everybody keep coming back to Paul Dummett?
No, but you said three. You said losing three. You just said it.
Callum Wilson.
Aye.
Matt Ritchie and Kieran Trippier.
Oh, he's saying Trippier. Yeah, you're moving.
These are the three people I've mentioned the entire time.
You're moving your goalpost there.
I've never moved the goalpost. These are the three players. You just kept lumping Dummett in with them.
No, I'll give you that. Well,
so that's what I'm saying. You take those three out of the squad.
They might even be better. that he's gone.
Right.
No, I get it. I get it.
Let's go.
We'll be all right.
The only one that springs to mind
Joelinton will just smash
potentially
everyone up.
is maybe Shea. And again, is that just because it's an age thing and
He probably just
he's
pisses
played a
people
lot
off,
of
yeah.
international football. He's been around the block, and
I don't think Fabian can be
Experience.
forced with anybody else's shit.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
that's the other thing.
But-
He
but-
just-
but-
he doesn't strike us
Doesn't
as that.
care.
Burn, man. Burn will 100%.
He'll be the one eye.
Like 100% will be the Richie. Like, oh, well.
And let's not forget Lascelles. Like I said, Lascelles is still there, and he's
Well,
big players up before. For
Before we
not
go
putting
through,
shift in,
through
so-
the questions which are being sent in, right? Just because we're talking about leadership at the club now, right? Yes, Lascelles is your club captain. Okay. I think Eddie Howe's been said this before that he wouldn't change that. Do you not think now's the time to change that?
What club captaincy?
Yes.
Well, I think he's in a win-win situation, whereas you don't have to change it because
You can have two.
You're going to have two because he's not going to play for the majority of the season.
Mm.
Pretty much like Kieran Trippier when Lascelles wasn't starting centre half. You know,
So
it was effectively
That's
captain.
2 seasons in a row, isn't it?
If Trips
Three,
goes,
maybe.
then who is the because Lascelles ain't playing. So who's going to be the
Do you want
captain?
me honest opinion?
Mhm.
Dan Burn.
Oh, he has
Yeah.
been a number of times this
If he starts
season, hasn't he?
Dan Burn, yeah.
He's done it, hasn't he already?
Yeah,
Yeah. But then you're
Number of
running the
times,
risk if he's going to be starting those games. But if I'm going for on-field captain,
It was Callum Wilson and Byrne that was the ones
I
that was
don't
stepping
know.
in.
I don't know
give
for
it to Bruno,
on-field
mate.
captain.
I'd give it to Bruno. But
Yeah, Bruno's probably my
how would I?
the one that would argue. Yeah, Bruno probably.
I think he's too emotional.
I think I'd go.
I think
seniority will go to share.
I think we'll figure that he likes these motions, but when we're all expecting him to twat somebody and get that yellow card. So I
Right.
think the motion, like I think I saw a different side of Bruno at that point of the season.
I think you'd see even bigger presence on the field, like if he was captain of us.
Maybe
Like,
a bit more restrained, or do you reckon we're sort of letting
Well,
him off the lead a little bit?
maybe a bit of both. I don't know. But Chris made a good point there. That remember I had him on every single week to get that other card, put money on him. I
That
like-
was
and he-
amazing. That
and he-
was
and he-
amazing,
And he
that.
stretched it.
That
so
was
he's-
amazing.
It was.
To watch him get the one foul, it was a couple of games as well. He got that one foul early.
Mm.
Thinking, well, he's definitely getting booked this game, and the restraint
Yep.
was unreal. So I hope he can take that into next season
Yeah.
as well. Actually,
Yeah, but it probably will be Burn, won't it? But that means, well, ask Mark, Dan Burn's expert here, an agent, is will Burn be playing centre half? Do you think, or left back come the start of the season?
I think probably with the emergence of Lewis Hall at the end of last season, and I've got to say, I think he's looking very trim and fit in pre-season,
Hall.
isn't he?
My
Hall?
mate.
Great
He's
interview as well.
looking-
Similar like
yeah,
Gordon's how
yeah.
he said when he came, he just wasn't up to the standard.
So I think if he continues in the vein that was seen at the end of last season, I think he's probably nailed on for that starting left back position, and then you'll see Cher and Burn as your two centres.
well, it depends if we.
But then you've got obviously Lloyd Kelly that's came in.
Some
Could sign
sort of-
someone.
Some sort of marquee signer at centre half as well. Apparently,
Yeah.
centre half, right wing. We'll see.
So let's go through the questions. The first one is from Josh Stockton, as always. He sends in a couple of questions. The first one, he's always got a question for you, Decker. Loves you, Josh does. Well, look,
I love him
we
too.
all love you,
Oh,
Josh.
God.
We do.
How's this gonna
He
go?
says, a question for Decker. Of course, it's about Maxi.
Oh, is it?
He
Oh, my
says,
mate.
he
Alright.
says, how do you think Maxi will do at Fenerbahce now Mourinho is manager? He goes on to say, I think it's a match made in hell. Maxi needs an arm around him, and Jose throws his players under the bus regularly after he's finished parking it.
Yeah, I'm with Josh.
Fireworks, in it?
It's a strange one because when Jose got the job, and then it was quite soon after them links started with Maxi, I was like, no way. Well, Jose want him. No way. He's totally not the player that he would want. I mean, he's only on loan, isn't he? To be fair,
Yeah, for the season, yeah.
But you know what it is? I think he'll have the odd moment where everything will look rosy, and then it'll absolutely be hell. I'm telling you, it's not going to work like so.
He's going to be that player that gets subbed off and doesn't get the handshake, isn't he?
I
He's
hope,
going to be
of
that
course,
one.
I want it to be amazing for him, right? But I just cannot see that working like at all.
At least the
Sadly.
Fenerbahce fans are mild-mannered, standing. And
Well, true. Yeah. I'll have to get a
You're
top.
compared to their neighbours.
I'll have to get a top.
You're going to get a Fenerbahce at top.
I'll bring you
Probably
one
not.
back.
Probably. I'm going in a couple of weeks now. Just can't see him. Knocking his door. Yeah, but I hope it works. Of course I do. But I
I
just
text him the other day saying, like, good luck in that.
didn't reply.
And he fuck. Cheers, Maxi.
But it's going to be a weird one, isn't it? I think it was from left field. The whole thing was, to be honest. But fingers crossed it works for my mate. I hope so.
Looking forward to it, Mark. Are you going to see him?
I hate Fenerbahce, so
He goes to Turkey every year and he's not gone now.
Just in case.
He runs into him.
I hope as soon as he gets off the plane, there's a poster.
That'll be the best. Get a picture of me too.
Just a poster of Maxi.
no, not a chance.
Well,
There's an
You're here
official,
with him, not
official
right.
Fenerbahce store in Marmaris.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well,
Do you know what we should
I'd
do,
pop
right?
along and shout
any
at it.
key ring, fridge
Not that I'm
magnet,
going to Marmaris. But
We'll find out, right? We'll find out which hotel Mark's staying in, right? And we'll email the hotel just to see if they'll leave photos of Maxi
all over the
like
bed,
every morning on the bed.
be amazing.
Right, Josh is asking that question as well, and another donation. So thanks very much, Josh. Decker, question for you again, mate.
Oh, is it? Right, okay.
He says, Decker, I've been watching the pods in order from 2019 to 2020 season.
Probably
Josh,
a bad question.
I
isn't it?
feel sorry for you, mate.
Super fan.
He says, did you ever bump into that bloke in the Platinum Club again after he started arguing with you and your dad about Steve Bruce? He says your rant was gold.
No, I went.
Get
really
familiar
kicked
with
off.
this one?
I actually can't quite remember what
See
it
if I
was.
quite-
Can you give us like
He's
cliff
had
notes, please?
quite a few rants, to be
I
fair.
can't remember, but he was just a prick, this guy, like, and he was just absolutely going berserk, like, at full time. And then I started kicking off, and my dad did, because he was just being a dick. And then I'm sure, well, of course we did. We went on that run where we stayed up. Never seen him I do remember seeing him once, and he was just scuttling out the door, wouldn't talk to anyone, just running out the door. And I'm like, fuck hell, like, how you've been giving the big licks every week. But this particular game, I can't remember what game it was. Was it Arsenal at home? Could have been. When that sub happened with Williams, it might have been then. Might have been. I could be wrong.
Oh, when we conceded just after, yeah.
It might have been that, yeah. And he was just going ballistic, like mental. Anyone that was willing to listen to him, actually, even people that weren't listening to him, he just was grabbing them, you know. And it was just one of them where, like, I hate people that I have no problem with someone that's not happy with a situation or with a performance, but then it's all, say the week after you win or something, that guy's still being negative. He's still pissed off. Pissed off with one now, and I was like, nah, I'm not having that. Like, so that was that.
So would you wide with him when we won and he was still kicking off, or was it when after?
Well, he was still kicking off when we won a few games, and then we won a few more. And then he would just walk away. He just straight on the straight out the door.
One of them fans that quite enjoys we're losing
But
games.
then when we lost a game, marching up and down the Platinum Club like fucking Hulk Hogan. He was. You should have seen. He was like, come on, brother. He was going mental. And here he is now. I'm like, well, you're chuffed. You're happy yourself. We've lost you. He was a weird guy. But you get him.
you sound like a Bruce apologist.
No, I'm not.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean. You had them for Rafa. There was loads of people. Rafa was exactly the same.
Yeah, good
You know?
when he's strung some results together.
Absolutely devastated.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's won again. And you're like,
Yeah.
it's mad, right? Mad.
The media used to love that. Absolutely love it. Media were the worst for it.
Oh yeah.
Rafa got a few good games in.
You know, like
Paul, who listens to this podcast, he'll be listening to this now. He absolutely hates Rafa. Still to this day, he absolutely despises him. It's madness.
there is a lot of people like that. There is, no, there
Yeah.
is. And players get the same as well, and I think that's when I get annoyed. Is now being critical of Longstaff and your Murphys and stuff, right? But I've also been
There's a longer list than that.
absolutely well, there is, probably. But I've also sit here and go, God, Murphy was amazing on there, but whatever it might be. But I'm telling you, man, I've sat there for years and had people behind me just absolute spitting feathers about certain players, and then when they do something amazing, they're still spitting feathers, you know. And you just you're a twat.
Can't win.
I remember one game where it was Shaw I was playing. It was when I used to sit at the East Stand, and Shaw had a stinker, to be fair, and he scored, and the fella behind me, I've never heard anybody laugh so loud.
Huh?
I said, I was like, fucking hell. You hated him that much. He was howling, and Shaw scored. Like,
And
absolutely
do
mental.
you know why I also get annoyed as well is because I always, and I'm not going to go down the Maxi route here, I'm not, right? I promise. And I do
I
promise.
feel like you are.
No,
Sounds like he's going right down that
He's
route.
just about to go down the
One-way
Maxi route
street there.
right about now.
How am I going to word this better?
Just admit it. Just admit it that you're going to go down the Maxi route.
No. But it's like, you know, like certain players will do something, right? And they'll just get absolutely, you know, roasted for it, right? And then literally seconds later, another player will do the same, maybe even worse. Two other, listen, right? I'll absolutely adore
Sounds like
Bruno, right? I love
Dan
Bruno.
Burn last season.
Where he was horrendous for periods at left back, but you just
Horrendous.
couldn't see it. You just couldn't see it.
Horrendous he was.
But Bruno might give the ball away 2 or 3 times in a row, whatever it might be, right? That's fine, by the way. I'm not up here screaming and bawling that, right? But then I'll see Longstaff do exactly the same, and there's people around us going ballistic.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm like, well, hang on here. I've
Mhm.
just seen Bruno do the same thing, and you're fine with that.
There's a massive
That's
double
not right,
standard,
that is
isn't
it?
there?
That's just not fair.
You're always going to get that in football, aren't you?
Yeah, well,
Particularly if your name's Miguel Almiron or Daniel Burn.
well, there's another one.
Miggy's
yeah.
the one,
No,
yeah.
Miggy was another one. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely right.
Let's go on to the next question. This one is from DK35. He also sends in a donation, so thanks very much. DK,
Nice.
Dragons Donkey Kong.
Maybe.
He says, hi guys, You loving that? It's besties changes name to Doggy.
It's bestie from Edinburgh.
He says, "Hi guys, I have a feeling that Villa are finishing above us next season. Could be trouble for our top four hope. Their window so far has been excellent, and could be signing Felix, who I would love us to sign too." Villa are one of those sides where obviously the Champions League football, you just never know what's going to happen. Exact same situation last season.
I think we all give Villa a lot of credit. They balanced European football last season very well.
Yeah,
and I know it's a different standard by that, and I get that.
Completely different standard for me. Like
they did go deep in that. Listen, we would be. I'm sorry, but we would be banging the drum.
I was good when we didn't. No, I wasn't bemoaning it. I'm just saying it's much easier to. I couldn't even name who was in their group.
No, I get
Probably
that.
couldn't spell them either.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like
you're still balancing 2 games. Well, not 2 games a week because that's too harsh. Like, it's not as often as that. But I still think to finish in the top 4 and then be in Europe and go a fire away in it, and I think that gives them like experience and balance to do it again. Now, I don't think they'll finish 4th, but that's
their recruitment's a big thing as well, which they seem to be handling
quite
well.
PSR game well.
Yeah, they are very well. Yeah.
So who they've signed Onana today? Who's a good,
they sold Louise, didn't they, for a.
And
they're
about to sell Diaby to Saudi Arabia, which is
So
I think it's a little bit of a funny one, given some of our fan base are still doing cartwheels now that we didn't. Cartwheels, that's celebrating.
Mark wanted him, did you, Mark? You wanted Diaby, didn't you?
Absolutely not.
Oh, did you?
No, of course he didn't. It's not his type of player at all.
Yeah, but it's saying that it's quite surprising they bought him for what?
Proven right though, wasn't it?
40 million quid. He's got I think it was double figures in assists and goals, but they played 54 games in all in competitions.
Sorry, what was that? Double goals and assists?
Yeah, but 54 games. So I don't know how many of them were in the Conference League. And that, again, I'm not playing it down too much. But he was all right. But again, he wasn't an instant world beater that everyone thought they were going to be if it came to Newcastle. But yeah, that's going to help them so much as well. They're going to be able to sign quite a few more players. We're sending someone at 60 million quid. I mean, I don't know how much of a profit that is. I think they're signing for 35, 40. So they've signed Onana, they've signed that kid from Chelsea. I don't know who else they've signed. But,
no idea.
I mean, I know that they're looking at Joao Felix, who would be a brilliant sign. He looked all right for Chelsea when he was playing, not suspended. But
quite a statement signing that, isn't it? As well,
it is, yeah.
For Villa,
and we'll have to see. I just think balancing it with Champions League football, as we know, see what the draw's like. So I don't think they'll get as nowhere near as bad a draw as we did. But
I don't think it's possible.
Yeah,
Matthew.
Yeah,
don't think it is. I'm going to go into the next question, just because we're talking about obviously marquee signings that Villa could possibly be making. This one is from John Ruddy.
What number striker will I be this season? Because I'm not getting
this is from a member who's clearly changed the name of John Ruddy. He says, "Do we break our transfer record this summer?" And he goes on to say, "Personally, think we will do on a right winger." Do we need that marquee signing, Digger? Well, what I'm saying by marquee, I'm not saying like fireworks and the grand scheme and shows and theatrics that come with it, but somebody go straight in that starting 11.
And buy your Malik from
which is not for sale.
Old Susie.
I would buy him 100%. But no, I don't think it needs to be a marquee signing. I don't think. But and it will. The signings that were brought in so far, is what it is, right? Like, what do you?
It's had to happen, didn't it?
It just is what it is.
I think Kelly's a little
bit
one, yeah.
Yeah. So, I think what's important is that I'm sure Howe said that he expected to have or hoped to have 2 through the door before they went to Tokyo. Well, that clock's ticking a bit, so I hope that's the case.
2 weeks, really.
We've got the whole game coming up, then it's a trip to Tokyo straight after that, isn't it?
And he said 2 in by then, so let's hope that's the case. And I would love. Of course, I would love them to have a marquee signing, but I'm not saying I expect it. Like, if I'm honest, I'm not saying I'm like thinking it's going to be. I'm not sitting here thinking, oh yeah, we're going to really blow the bank on someone coming up. I don't feel that way.
It's a lot of air miles of club put in, haven't they? A handful a month.
How much is the
Australia back off to Germany?
60. How much was it?
Isak's
70.
No, isn't it? So
we're close. 70.
Isaac was 60 plus.
I'm not sure.
I don't think we'll spend.
I don't think we'll spend
that.
Like.
How much was Tonali again? How much was Tonali?
40.
45.
45. Yeah.
But,
yeah,
that was last year.
Yeah. I'm thinking around 30, maybe 2-3 players, 40, 50 million, something around that.
I mean, Craig, I'm not complaining if I got 2 or 3.
I think, I think they'll still. But if you think Isak wasn't really a marquee signing, he wasn't a huge name at the time. Yes, he'd, You
don't see that very often these days, Mark, do you? Where big players jumping from one club to another. they normally stay there for quite a while. Like
It's wait until the contract runs.
it's because you just can't afford them these
Yeah.
days. Players like obviously you look at Mbappe's situation, you wait for his contract to drop before he's gone to Real. You just don't see those big transfers any longer.
No, but and if you do, it tends to be, to a God, not to sound disrespectful to us, but to like a big name club. So
Like
somebody moving from, say,
Well, could we argue
Juventus, to
Kane going from Spurs
Barcelona,
to Bayern?
to Bayern, that kind of thing.
Right, De Bruyne's meant to be off, isn't he, from City?
Um,
So he's gone to Saudi, isn't he?
Saudi.
So,
Yeah, and I think that's the other one. Like the big name and marquee signings tend to be going where the money is at the minute, and the money certainly isn't here. So that's why I think it'll probably be a bit more shrewd. And what I'm hoping is that we aren't hearing anything, but that's because of the way that we're kind of running with negotiations now and how we're doing with business, and or maybe being a little bit more kind of stealth about it. Because even if you think of the signings that we have made, the kind of were made public very, very late on into the
They've been really,
negotiations.
really, really good. They've handled it
So-
unbelievably well recently.
And that was, something that was mentioned when we.
well, Isak was, wasn't he? God, Isak was from nowhere,
no.
wasn't he?
Well, I think that one literally did come from nowhere
Yeah.
because we were interested in him. It went nowhere, and then he suddenly became available. So we snapped them up. And I think that's, that could happen is when you've potentially identified someone, and all of the messages you're getting is no, because Tonali was the same. We weren't meant to be buying Tonali, but then suddenly
mirrors, wasn't it?
Milan needed to make some money, and there you go.
Well, that's where we've been linked with recently, and then the Italian market.
Two of their players. Thea was one of them, isn't he?
I think I was meant to be getting close, apparently. From
That's
what I
the
was,
centre half.
He's dead fast.
but, from Milan.
Centre half, though, yeah. The German lad.
Yeah, the German lad. Yeah. He's been linked like.
It's two central defenders, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Sorry,
Yeah.
it was him. I was seeing a lot of again today. Just linked that 25 million, a little bit over that, and we're just I don't know.
That Chiesa rumour seems to not be going away, but I just feel like that's just Juventus trying to drum up interest a little bit.
Maybe.
I mean,
And again, that would probably be classed as a marquee state signing just because of the name that he's got,
his injury record.
and he's.
Oh well.
So,
Yeah, he just fit
Come
right
on
in.
board.
Yeah.
Do you have
That's what
any
has to
questions?
improve. That's what has to improve in the next season. Is
Injuries.
Well, should he kind of get any worse? Like, and this performance guy, I bet he'll be the one observing that in terms of
that's meant to be part of his remit.
Yeah, part of his.
Well,
remit,
there's
it's important.
A suggestion here from NUFC UK that says Jarrod Bowen would be great. He was
Oh.
rumoured a couple of weeks back, wasn't he?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh,
Again, I just can't see.
I
that
don't see
happening.
that happening.
Yeah.
Unless West Ham need a massive chunk of change or something, I just cannot see them wanting to sell to us. And again, is he settled down there? Is he with the Dyer family?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he would mind coming back up north, but I don't think Ms. Danny would want to.
Where did he go? Was it Hull that he was
Hull.
playing for?
He
we were meant to sign him
He was
from.
in
there.
the
meant to come and sign, it was all
waiting for
done,
Newcastle, waiting for
dusted,
it.
and
He told it was
Ashley
going on.
wouldn't pay the money, would he?
No.
What a player he is. He's absolutely
Yeah,
class.
I do like it. Do you know what? He's one who, if we signed him and we were starting games, starting up front, I wouldn't be that bothered about. I always get surprised watching him play when West Ham have to have him playing centre forward. How much havoc he can cause if you just get the ball into his feet and he just gets running at defenders, and how he breaks the back line as well.
He's a good finisher
He's
as well.
a good finisher.
good
So like
finisher,
he, again, I don't think it'll happen at all. Like
Can you imagine though him right, going left, and
that'd be amazing.
Be nice.
Isak.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Win
But
the
I
league,
just
win the
don't
league.
see that one.
I
I think there's not going to be. I don't think there's going to be proper household names coming.
Oh, my mate's being linked, Oscar Bob.
Oscar Bob.
Oscar
Yeah.
Bob,
Like,
yeah,
you know what it is? I would
Has
love,
he?
love for us to sign Oscar
I
Bob
know, yeah.
just for you.
Yeah, I got tagged on Twitter so much. Going, look at this. 'Cause
Like,
that was guy.
Oscar Bob.
Remember that year ago? That
He
came
was one
back
of
and
the
bit us,
two
that.
players that we were offered as
Bruno.
a deal to sweeten Bruno if De Bruyne moves to Saudi.
Oscar Bob.
I think De Bruyne's body's falling apart, and I think City have realised that every dog has its day.
Mm.
Which is, to be fair, going right back an hour ago, is what we're saying about a few of our lads.
Yeah.
It's just thanks
Yeah.
for what you've done, but
Yeah. Do you have any questions before we end it then? Anything you burning desire to tell us about?
nah.
Is that this point where everybody says no, then we'll finish recording and go, normally when we get in the lift, always remember something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't,
Do we still think there's a chance Anthony Gordon leaves?
Yeah, no.
No, I don't know.
Nah.
No, but I still
I
haven't
don't-
liked the murmur.
I'm sick of that. I'm sick of seeing it. Like,
I don't. Do you know what it is? I think if we sell one of our players, one of these players that'll go for big money, I think we'll show a hand far too early. I don't think we'll allow it to lose one of our key players without somebody to replace.
Are you shocked at how they have this murmuring hasn't sort of, I don't know, hasn't seemed to have gone away, has it? Like he's not
Liverpool
very
links.
happy and this and that.
And it's also, I think
weird,
it's a book with the fact that it's been a slow transfer window.
Yeah.
Not many people have been
I
doing
think-
business. And that was the big shock thing. But then it depends who you listen to, because there's plenty of journalists saying it wasn't even a conversation.
Yeah.
It was barely
Aye.
even a talk. They were just like, would you fancy it? If you give us that, no, bye. Right.
Yeah.
And they're saying he's been unsettled. I just think, I mean,
unsettling and stuff.
Eddie
yeah.
Howe said what, like, his exact quote today was, I'd welcome him back with 3 arms if I could, which is a bit of an obscure quote.
The guy said arms, not legs.
3 legs.
Yeah. But, you know, I don't think Gordon, from what we've seen now,
Santos, yeah.
he's... Oh, God. No. Moving on swiftly. From what we've seen of Gordon, I don't think he's the type of lad who's going to disrespect you after that much and be like, oh, my head's 10 now, I want to go back to Liverpool.
But I think, do you know
I
what it
don't
is?
think they can afford him anyway.
I think these rumours have helped the fact that he hasn't been here as well. He hasn't been at the club. So we're not seeing him every day in the photos and things like that. I think once he's back in training, once he's with the lads, I think those rumours will just completely disappear. Go on.
I agree.
Gone. Thanks, everybody. Sorry, actually, there's a couple of comments about training tops. We'll do that next week.
Oh, Chris isn't a fan, like.
Of what?
The feathery one?
Yeah, I'm on the
Oh,
fence.
do you not like the magpie?
Yeah, sorry,
feathers?
I will talk about it now, just
I like
briefly.
the magpie feather.
So the rumoured one was weeks and weeks ago, wasn't it? That we saw the little clip of what we thought this training top must be, and it was the feathers. And the magpie. I was saying the magpie feathers.
Yeah,
100%.
100%. Yeah.
Peacock feathers. Magpie feathers.
Newcastle United, the famous peacocks.
Gavin and Darren.
Big fella.
Maxi was a peacock, I'll
Gavin,
tell you that. But yeah, the magpie feathers on the shirt, on the training shirt. I'm on the fence. Mike was texting us the other day about
Have you
it.
seen some of the shirts you wear?
What are you talking about?
That's what he said. Like, when we were talking before.
Said it behind your back. Now he's saying it in front of loads of viewers.
I don't know. It's just a bit too loud for me.
Have you seen some of the shirts you wear?
I never wear
I
loud
don't think
shirts.
it's loud. I don't think.
What?
No,
There's
I don't-
100 feathers on
Yeah,
it.
but like it's because of the colours. It's not.
It's fucking loud. That like, it's busy.
I think it's like. I don't know.
No, because I think when you see it like at any like a distance or close up, you don't kind of notice it just looks like a pattern.
So when you see it halfway between
No, I'm saying,
from a
like,
distance or close up.
Like the
What?
perception
Get
thing,
your
like it
glasses on,
just
Mark.
like I don't know, like you can see that it's feathers when you've got.
Are
it
you-
close
are you-
up and
you're not-
looking at it.
If you're okay with them
But it's
hands,
sort
the
of-
fucking plane's going to
When
land
it's
in a
like at a
minute.
distance, like
He's
oh,
got the
that's just a
Starmer hand,
patterned-
doesn't he? That's what
a patterned
Starmer does. He's
shirt.
got the Starmer hand.
You could like say I don't know, it's like paisley or maybe like
Are you going to buy it? Mark?
flowers or
Are you going to
something
buy
like
it, Mark?
I'm tempted, like
Are you?
yeah.
A lot of
I
feathers.
prefer that over the.
It's a lot of
he was waiting for that one, wasn't he?
No,
He
no,
was
I wasn't.
waiting for that one.
No,
big bird.
I think it's no, I like it.
I wouldn't say. It doesn't.
You like to see stuff in the shop, don't you? You don't.
Yeah,
you can't
no,
make your
yeah.
mind up on a shirt until.
Obviously, I think the first pictures I seen it was Harvey Barnes. I think was the first.
That's
picture
the
I
only
seen
one
of
I've
it.
really
Yeah.
seen. Yeah.
And,
Apparently, there's another. Is there another
There's
one?
a black like referee kit.
Yeah, people are talking
style one,
about a black bird. I've never seen the black one.
With feathers on it as
Yeah,
well.
apparently so.
Nah, it hasn't got feathers on it.
Oh, hasn't it?
Nah,
Oh.
it has
What
got
are
like
you
some
talking about?
sort of pattern to it.
Oh,
Aye,
It's
Mark
not
Mark
feathers.
had that far away. Good.
Then this far
Yeah,
away, they
feathers on
couldn't
that
decide.
one. Oh,
so-
feathers on it. Oh,
Can you
loads of
take
feathers on it.
photos
It's like
back?
I don't know, like what you would.
What would you do, Mark?
I want to say like L-shaped, kind of like it has got like a bit of a pattern to it, but not like a. It's not feathers or like a. Like the
once
kit
I
last
see
year
it,
where we
I
had
think
the like the stadium view and stuff like that. It's just the.
See, I wasn't
Just a
a
bit
fan
of
of that
pattern.
training one, the neon one with all the
that was
shit happening on
lovely,
it.
that, man.
That was too busy for my
Beautiful.
liking.
Beautiful.
I'll have to. Oh, someone. Scotty's texting me and Mark here. This can be a picture of this top, isn't it? Oh no, it's obviously not. Oh no, it is. Hang on, 2 seconds. Oh, it's that one there. It's that one there. It's that one there.
This is my cock.
Aye, that's doing absolutely football for us as well.
I prefer that one to the
Shut up! That's loud.
That's like a. That's
I'm
like
just saying that to see your face. But I don't know.
that's like somebody's rubbed up against the blackboard and like got a bit chalk on them.
Well, it's better than rubbing up against
I think-
a flock of magpies.
To be honest with you, I think it's like someone's having a tab down here and the smoke's just like coming
Yeah.
up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That-
you going with feathers over that? Check,
Smoke
if you had to.
effect.
Why is Lewis
If you had to,
wearing that
check
Zorro mask?
I don't know. I think it's. I think it's a bit. I can imagine Castro doing that. If I'm being honest.
You just
Well,
got one of them there,
that's
didn't
not a
you?
massive endearment, is it?
No, that doesn't turn us on. Like
No, but I'm saying if you had to pick one now between that and feathers,
That
what
one.
you going for?
That black
I'm
one.
not talking to you.
I'm
That black one.
probably going to say feathers. Like
Yes.
Yeah,
Is that,
probably
is that
am.
actually a picture of my car?
What do you mean? Is it that car? No, it's not, man. It's not your car.
No, it's not.
Not
It's not. It's
Had me car
crashed into
5
it.
weeks and some fucker scratched it already. Oh, Andy. Listen.
Anyway,
Sorry,
Sorry,
about
mate.
that,
That looks awful.
Sorry,
Oh,
Andy.
that is awful.
Sorry,
that.
mate.
So, the feathers one. Do you know how much it is?
if it's
Oh, it's going to be
Bro,
25 to 30 pounds,
40
I'd have it. But well, how much is the train stop again? 40.
$5 a feather.
There'll be a tenner in Turkey next week.
I need to have another look at it before we go. Oh, do you know the archive ones? That was horrific. That one.
Well, that's for a whole different show.
Wasn't it?
Yeah,
Whole
yeah,
different
we'll
show.
look into that later.
Yeah, whole different show.
Wait till I find feathers here. Hang on.
Great audio content this Decker.
Oh, that's all. This was switched off by then. Was it before the Trump guy or after? The Trump guy getting shot?
Honestly.
Oh, it's way after that, man. I can't find it now. I want to just have
Well,
one
you've
more.
said it. It's been locked in 3-1. Sorry,
Feathers.
Chris.
Oh, it's not.
I
See, that-
think you're all going to
What you've got on there with that badge on, like I think Scotty's done that, has he?
I think I did it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did that.
You did that, did
Yeah.
you? All right, I mean, how?
Yeah.
This is what I didn't need
So,
fellas.
so
in me,
this shirt,
just give us that.
with the Newcastle crest
Just
there.
give us
That
that.
would be ideal.
That would be pretty good.
Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah.
But instead, I get feathers.
That's the name of his album.
I get feathers. What was he saying about tits earlier?
I'll bring you feathers.
Tits and that. It's all about tits and that. Thanks, everybody that has been watching. Been a pleasure as always. Just like the video means a lot to us. Become a subscriber. It costs you nothing to do that. If you want to become a member, it's just $2.99 a month. We are going to have a bit of a meetup next week in regards to everybody involved with GallowgateShots to see what sort of future content we can do for all of our members as well. We'll see you next time. Ta-ra.
I like the feathers one. I've just looked at it again. It is good.
Shite.